was less than 4 months ago when Team Drippin' took down the P-Boys to win the first ever 2BA championship. Each team fought hard throughout the playoffs, but those eliminated were left to dwell on the past. Today, the future generation becomes reality as 5 exciting young prospects look to put a stamp on the 2BA.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our coverage of the 2022 2BA Draft. I'm William Blake, joined here by Mike Viani, and we're looking at the first draft in 2BA history.
We're just about ready to get things going, so let's hand it over to the commissioner.
Good evening, everybody. Tonight is a very historic night in the history of the 2BA. Before we kick things off, I'd like to thank each team for their dedication to the league, and all of the other people who helped out in the completion of the 2021 season. I'd like to congratulate Team Drippin' for winning the first ever 2BA championship and for their everlasting impact on the league moving forward. We have a number of very intriguing prospects awaiting for their entry into the league, so let's get started. The first overall pick in tonight's draft will be made by Yin Yan. They have 5 minutes to make their selection.
Yin Yan came into the 2021 season with a promising young team. Unfortunately, they ended their season with 0 wins and 7 losses and did not live up to their full potential. It seems like they're lacking that number 1 star to bring their team over that hump, and their first overall pick should certainly help with that issue.
2 stars in the making, Nick Barbera and Miguel Rosetta, seem to be neck and neck to go first overall. Each player will certainly help Yin Yan live up to their full potential. Out of these 2 picks, Miguel Rosetta would bring a nice 3-point shot to the team, and Nick Barbera would bring his all-around play style, along with enhancing the team chemistry.
We just received the word that the pick is in, so let's check back with the commissioner.
With the first overall selection in the 2022 2BA draft, Yin Yan selects Nick Barbera from Staten Island, New York.
Nick Barbera was an all-around player that will immediately elevate Yin Yan. Being childhood friends with teammate Nick Grande will certainly help out their team chemistry. He served as a substitute for teammate William Blake in the 2021 season and showcased his ability to knock down baskets when needed.
He is not primarily known as a shooter, but his strong athleticism and ability to get to the rim will provide this team with the points they need. He's a great playmaker, which will enhance this team's court vision.
Nick must now adapt to his new teammates' play and figure out how to distribute minutes among his team.
Now let's talk about Team PNC. They finished 2-6 last season and lost in round 1 of the playoffs. But they have AJ Fumarola, who averaged 36 points per game and was second place in MVP voting.
They had an injury-riddled season with AJ only playing 6 games and Nero playing 5 games, so they were never able to develop that proper team chemistry.
It's certainly something that they have to improve on, because that continuity will certainly raise them to the next level.
With the second overall selection in the 2022 2BA draft, Team PNC selects Miguel Rosetta from Tinton Falls, New Jersey.
What a selection by Team PNC. This pick could forever change the direction of this team, as AJ, the best 3-point shooter in the league, will be joined by future star Miguel Rosetta, a knockdown 3-point shooter. This pick could either drastically improve or hurt this team.
Having 2 3-point shooters is great, however, they are 2 ball-dominant players, which could potentially hurt this team. Either way, Miguel is projected to win this year's Rookie of the Year, so the addition of an athletic guard will help this team's path to victory.
Yo, Sam.
Yo,
What's good?
is this Miguel Rosetta?
Yes, sir.
I have called to inform you that you have been selected 2nd overall in the 2022 2BA draft. Yes, 2nd overall.
Oh my God, this is a dream come true, man.
You will be joining Mike Nero and AJ Fumarola on Team PNC Banking Arts Center.
PNC for life.
Yeah.
It could certainly be a historic season for them, but now, let's move on to Tenacious D. Last season, they finished with a record of 4-5 and got swept in the first round of the playoffs by the P-Boys. They have a shooter in Sam Ferrara and a defensive pest, Jake Fisher, who can also create his own shot. What are they looking to add to their team for this upcoming season?
Well, I would love for them to draft a big body here. They have 2 players who are considered guards, so they should look for some height and some rebounding with this pick.
With the 3rd overall selection in the 2022 2BA draft, Tenacious D selects Chris Manos from Tinton Falls, New Jersey.
We have some question marks regarding Chris's age, as there have been reports saying he is young as 14 years old, but there are others saying that he could be as old as 19. Nonetheless, Tenacious D has beefed up on the defensive side of the ball, just like the team name says.
While the offensive side of his game could use some development, Manos is a strong rebounder and defender. Chris checks in as one of the 2 tallest players in the league already, and he looks to block a lot of shots and possibly make a run at Defensive Player of the Year.
Now we move on to the last 2 picks in this year's draft, made by 2 teams who appeared in last year's finals. However, the P-Boys are going to look a lot different this year.
Certainly, with the sudden retirements of Eddie Lay and Joe Bedios, the P-Boys had to scurry into the free agent market and sign 2 players from the G League, Nick Rossini and Thomas Sutherland. They look to make a name for themselves this season and lead the P-Boys back to the finals.
Yes, but that's going to be very tough to do. It is almost unheard of for 2 rookies to come in and carry a team to the finals. Expect them to struggle a little bit coming out of the gate.
With the 4th overall selection in the 2022 2BA draft, the P-Boys select Jack Welsh from Red Bank, New Jersey.
This pick comes as a surprise as Jack did not show up to the combine. It has been rumored that the new P-Boys would like to run a 2-man rotation and keep Jack as a drafting stash and potentially use him as trade bait.
Yeah, I'm quite surprised with this draft pick, as 2 rookies could certainly use a 3rd man. But hey, I love the confidence from these guys.
The last pick belongs to Team Drippin', and while they have the last pick of the draft, they could certainly use a 3rd man to take the stress off reigning MVP Mike Viani and his co-star Justin Bradley.
There's really only one man these guys can draft, and it's looking like it's going to be Phil Richardson. Team Drippin' doesn't really need to improve their team, but they will definitely take what they can to provide themselves with the best team possible.
Before I announce the final pick, I'd like to thank everyone who joined us on this historic night. A special shout out to all of our fans and supporters. We couldn't have done it without you guys. And with the 5th pick of the 2022 2BA draft, Team Drippin' selects Phil Richardson from Red Bank, New Jersey.
This is the pick we all expected, and I think this could help out Team Drippin' a lot. He's a big man that could provide some post-up offense and even lockdown defense.
Yeah, this team could really use a big body that can set picks to allow them to get to the basket with ease. They have a promising 2022, so they can only hope to keep up with the rest of the league because each team is getting better and better. We'd like to thank everyone for joining us tonight for the first ever 2BA draft. We can't wait for the season to start and see these young prospects bloom into their potential.
Thank you everyone once again, and we'll see you soon.